Hello there my beloved Batties, and welcome to another episode of Truth Behind the Tale, the series where I take a look at some of our most famous fairy tales and delve into their real world historical and cultural origins. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Emperor's New Clothes. I've just realised the irony in that statement, take a look at the Emperor's New Clothes. Well, let's roll with it. The Emperor's New Clothes was written by Hans Christian Andersen and published in 1837 as part of his Fairy Tales Told for Children first collection, third booklet. As he did for many of his tales, Andersen created the story himself, but he did draw upon earlier sources and potentially an account from his own life to inform the plot. But before that, the place we need to begin is in fact India, where the earliest variant of the story is found in a 1282 summary of a now lost anthology of fables, which dates from 1052. In the summary, a dishonest merchant hoodwinks a king by offering to make him a magical garment which cannot be touched by anybody who is born illegitimately. The king walks about his city in his new clothes to show them off, and the entire court pretends to admire it, but the common folk see straight through it. No pun intended. By the time the king realises he's been made a fool of, the swindler has already escaped. This, however, isn't the story which Andersen drew on to fashion his own. That source belongs to a tale from Libro de los Ejemplos, or the Tales of Count Lucanor. This is a medieval Spanish text, one of the earliest works of prose in Castilian Spanish, which was written in 1335 by Don Juan Manuel. It contains 50 cautionary short tales, themselves drawn from various sources such as Aesop and Arabic folk tales, which may form the connection to the earlier Indian tale. The collection would go on to have a lasting influence on Spanish literature, with its focus on each story having a moralistic purpose. It was first printed in Seville in 1575 and then again in Madrid in 1642, and then it lay forgotten for almost 200 years. It was later printed in a German translation, which Andersen read, not knowing Spanish, and he lifted Tale 7 of that which happened to a king and 3 impostors as the source of his own story. However, he did change the focus of the clothes. In the original tale, the king is hoodwinked by the impostors who claim to make a fabric which would be invisible to any man who is not the son of his presumed father. Andersen instead shifted it to be invisible to anyone who is stupid or unfit for his position. This mentality of courtly vanity and intellectual stupidity is quite a common motif in early Andersen works. He both despised and admired the Danish aristocracy, noting their hypocrisy while also wishing to walk among them and be recognised. This desperation is perhaps most plainly seen in The Ugly Duckling, but The Emperor's New Clothes can be seen as the opposite side of the coin, an exposé of the snobbery that he found in the salons when he did finally gain admission. Scholars suspect that this may be the reason why he decided to make a sudden change to the story at almost the point of no return. While the manuscript for The Emperor's New Clothes was at the printers, he was inspired to change the original climax of the story from the Emperor's subjects admiring his new clothes to a child shouting out how he is actually naked. This might have happened from Andersen reading the manuscript to a child, or perhaps from a memory of his own childhood when King Frederick VI was parading through the streets. Andersen recalled standing in an excited crowd waiting to see the king, but when the king appeared, he cried out, "Oh, he's nothing more than a human being." This resulted in his mother trying to silence him and saying, "Have you gone mad, child?" Whatever the reason, he decided that the change to the ending would prove more satirical. Later commentaries have suggested that one of the reasons why the story is popular with children is because it encourages one to have courage in one's own convictions. According to Zack Snipes, sight becomes insight, which in turn prompts action. Alison Prince also claims that after The Emperor's New Clothes and The Swineherd were published, Andersen was gifted a ruby and diamond ring from the king. Both of these stories were satires containing disrespect for court, and it's been suggested that the ring was a way to curb his sudden political undertones by drawing him into the royal fold. To support this, she points out that Andersen didn't write any more political satire after receiving the ring, but within months he began writing The Ugly Duckling. The Emperor's New Clothes was far from a disappointment, however. At this point, traditional Danish, French and German folk tales came to be regarded as a source of exotica in Denmark, and they were read aloud by celebrated actors of the day. Andersen's tales became a part of this repertoire, with The Emperor's New Clothes enjoying particular success with the popular actor Ludwig Pfister. And in 1844, Grand Duke Karl Alexander held a literary soiree in Andersen's honour at Ettersburg, where Andersen read aloud 3 of his tales: The Princess and the Pea, Little Ida's Flowers, and The Emperor's New Clothes. This was actually quite a feat for him because he was exhausted from speaking numerous foreign languages and was on the verge of vomiting after feasting constantly for the past several days. Since its publication, The Emperor's New Clothes has never waned in popularity and remains as well known today as it did in 19th century Denmark. Andersen's story is the most well-known version in history and has informed several adaptations over the years, while also becoming a metaphor for anything that smacks of pretentiousness, snobbery, hypocrisy or denial. This isn't the first instance when a fairy tale has entered the dictionary with its language. Bluebeard also saw the same thing happen, but this one has become particularly popular. And unlike The Emperor's New Clothes, it's unlikely the story will become invisible to anyone anytime soon, but only continue to provide an unflinching and satirical look at those who presume themselves above others. Thank you very much for joining me for this episode of Truth Behind the Tale. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a big thumbs up if you did. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single episode. The next episode of Truth Behind the Tale will be coming on the last Tuesday of next month. Make sure you hit the little bell notification so you make sure not to miss it. Thank you for watching, have a good day, stay safe, and I'll see you all again very soon in another video. Bye!